Welcome, friends, to Dog Grooming Unleashed. We are Leigh and Michelle Caluneo. Our mission is to create a safe, welcoming space for dog groomers and pet lovers to come together to learn, laugh, and feel supported. So join us as we build a community where pet parents and groomers can come together. We also want to help groomers grow in their skills, share their struggles, and feel connected to others in the industry. So get ready to learn and laugh. We're so excited to have you here. Hey, Fergie.
Oh, this
Hey.
is episode 4. Dog grooming tools I'll never use again, and here's why. And Michelle has a list of her own. We're both dog groomers, and we have tools that we had a lot of faith in, and we don't anymore. What changed? Michelle, what's on your list?
My number one is the Furminator.
That's on my list.
I stole it from you.
You stole it, and we did not share with each other. That's the fun thing about us getting together.
Yes. Yeah, I got the Furminator when Nellie was a puppy, but I'm just not a big fan of it because I feel like it definitely rips the coat a little bit. So that was one that, everybody was saying you got to get, everybody you got to use, and it just gets the coat beautiful and gets all that fur out. I think people are always trying to find ways to make their dogs not shed. Pet parents always want to just try to, you get these big fluffy breeds and you want to try to figure out how to get them to not shed. Unfortunately, that's not really the case. They're going to continue shedding, but
it's a shedding breed. Will always shed, but there are proper ways to handle shedding and maintain that coat so that you're not dealing with an abundance of coat ever. And I just did a video on my YouTube channel with a Sheltie that had a ton of impacted undercoat, and
That's a great video.
Yeah, how to safely do it, what tools to use. And no, you did not see the Furminator in that video. And you're right, I agree with you 100%. There was a huge buzz in the industry when that tool came out. It was expensive. It was years ago that tool came out. At the trade shows, they were demoing it. Everybody's talking about it on the trade show floor. Did you get your Furminator? Did you get your Furminator? I'm like, what's a Furminator? I got to go to the booth and find out. And I'm looking at this tool, watching it work, and I'm going, that seems harsh. Already, we know better. Guys, use your common sense because you're probably right.
Well, Nellie didn't like it when she was a puppy. She didn't like it. And it was like, I was really having a hard time brushing her. She was a young dog. I was trying to desensitize her. I wasn't even a groomer at the time, but she hated that brush. And I thought, okay, like I'm going to, look into something else because this isn't what's going to work for her. She's just going to hate this whole process. She just kept trying to mouth it and everything.
So what did you go to?
So I went to a slicker brush and then a rake brush. I felt was really nice because it had a little bit of a give and I could just, just go as hard as I wanted to, or, it was a good way to like balance out being comfortable with her, and that she was comfortable for the whole process. So, but yeah, no. And that was, again, I was just a pet parent then trying to figure out how to get this bomb of fur to stop exploding in my house every day.
Well, because you saw a commercial, because the Furminator ended up being advertised to everybody. I think QVC had it. Let's be honest. So QVC started carrying the Furminator, right? And at that time, I was a groomer. I was a groomer when that came out, and I was scared because I thought, oh no, being advertised as a brush. It is not a brush. Any de-shedding tool that does not have bristles that move.
Yeah, you want like that move. Yeah.
Yeah, no flex. That is not a brush. It was being marketed as a brush. My poor clients are coming in. When clients brush, they're usually just brushing down the back. They don't brush or de-shed the rest of the dog. So the under part of the dog is like this, and the top is flat. And I'm like, what did you do? What did you use?
But they're always like, I brush them right here.
But I got this new brush, and I said, a brush did that?
Yeah.
Well, I said, what is your brush? It's that Furminator thing. I said, that's not a brush.
Yeah.
That's a de-shedding tool, and you got to know when to stop. And it does pull top coat as well as secondary coat. Not a good idea. So I had
it pulls out a lot of healthy coat too.
That's the problem that I had with it. So I know that they had good intentions. And listen, there are some coats that it does have a use. I didn't throw it away and use it as a garden tool. I did keep it. I found a use for it. And to this day, I still have another tool that I like better. So I don't really use the Furminator much. It's a carding tool. That's what the
It's more
Furminator
like a carding tool, yeah.
card down the jackets of your cocker spaniels, of your schnauzers after you use a 7 blade to clip them. I use it as a carding tool. That's the only thing I use it for.
When you're dematting for pet parents out there, and for, us professionals too, like what is your favorite tool, like your number one that you're gonna use for dematting a double
And
coated dog?
de-shedding,
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, not dematting. Oh, de-shedding.
de-shedding.
Yes.
For me, it's a slicker brush. It's always
Yes.
a slicker brush because a slicker brush has a little give and flex in the brush, and I always
Yes.
choose a slicker brush that I can use in the tub while the conditioner is on the dog. I can gently brush and
Yeah.
slough out easily all that undercoat that wants to come out. I'm not going to force good coat,
Yeah.
only the coat that wants to come out, and it'll just be globs on the brush. But the bristles have a little flex for the dog's sake, for the
Yeah.
skin and the hair. It's not pulling so much. The tool itself, the flexible slicker brush, I like the Artero flexible slicker brush, and I like the Flex It uh,
It's a
flexible
little
slicker
bit
brush.
of give.
They
Yeah.
need a little bit of give. You need a little bit of give. But a slicker brush is your first and foremost de-shedding tool. Then I will go to non-sharp tools like the Sure Grip de-shedding rake because it is not for give. It's not going to flex, but it's not going to rip through the coat either.
And that's for when they're dry, right?
Yeah, or at least after I have slicker brushed with the conditioner on. During the condition step, I will
Yeah.
slicker brush as much undercoat out. And while they still have the conditioner on, I may go through with that rake and just see how the rake feels. But I won't
Okay.
go for the rake first because it'll just simply get stuck in the coat because it has no flex.
Yeah, I'll have to try it because I usually do the slicker brush in the tub with conditioner, and then when they're dry, I like that, that like round, are we talking about the same like rake where it's like a U shape or like a teardrop shape?
It just has metal pins. They're not
Yeah.
sharp.
No,
Yeah.
they're not sharp, and then I
Yeah.
can just gently, so when they're
Mhm.
dry, that's when, like, I'll blow dry them out, and then my whole shop's filled with fur, and then I like to go through just real gently, and then sometimes you'll get to those real fluffy spots where then you can just sit there and kinda, and then all you can see all the fur come out, and that makes me happy.
For using it for that purpose, you can also just simply use a good pen brush.
Yeah.
After when you're drying and you're still picking out some of that undercoat,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll just go for a pen brush there just to
Yeah.
flick it out. That's all you need to do is just let the dryer push it out, and give it a little assistance with your brush or that rake, like you said.
Do you agree that there's no right or wrong way? I think a lot of times, I think all dogs are different. And and it all depends on the dog too. Some of them aren't going to do as well with you brushing in the tub. They might do better with you doing more blow drying, So I think that you always have to do what works for that dog. And some shops are going to do things a little bit different. And so, but we like to share our favorite methods, what we like to do,
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
right. There
but
there are different ways to get to the same end goal,
yes,
but
yes,
tool choice is important. You want something that is a little forgiving, that isn't just going to rip. Because
yes.
it's going to cause an abundance of undercoat growth if you're taking
And
out too much.
and make that dog hate the whole experience.
Oh, that's the most important thing. We want them to be comfortable.
I have a white German Shepherd. I love her. Her name is Freya, and I've been grooming her since I was mobile. So it's been well over 3 years. And she had two horrible experiences with her previous groomer where because she's white, she went back to the house and she was bleeding all over her coat, and her mom was like, oh my gosh, why she's bleeding, and the woman or the groomer said, oh, we had to really, rake her, and sometimes and they were so abrasive, so the woman apologized and
Yeah.
explained what was
I didn't
happening, and
know that
then
they
she
did
did it
that.
again. She did it again to her, and
That's
so
because they
this
were using the wrong tools. That's
they were
why it's
using the wrong
important.
tools.
This episode's important. This
Yes.
episode's very important. They were using the wrong tools. A flexible slicker brush would have de-shed that dog appropriately in the tub with conditioner. Why conditioner? Conditioner allows
Yeah.
all that to slide right out. It's conditioner is like adding Vaseline to the situation. It
Yes.
allows slip and slide in the coat.
And
Um,
she's so sweet and she's so nervous. I mean, even after all these years, I'm always like,
yeah.
right. Like I have to like ground her. Like when she's in the tub and she'll just be shaking. And so I'll just be like, shh. And I just kind of hold her for a minute just to like just so we ground and we relax and calm down. And then we start with like super warm. I mean, but I've been grooming her for years and she might have been like that before anyways, but I just thought this sweet, I always think of it when she's there because I'm like, this sweet, sweet dog was bleeding. Like I have, you know what I mean? So it's so important to use the right tools. And if you're not, especially a tool that can be so abrasive like that and that can
Yeah.
cause damage to the skin, so, but
I
anyway, so that's,
actually don't recommend any beginners use any tools for de-shedding or for any special type of grooming need until they are definitely at the intermediate spot where they've learned more, they've seen more, they've experienced more dog breeds and more situations
yeah,
before you would use any other tools other than a comb and a brush, even for de-sheds. And I mean it. I wouldn't recommend any
yeah.
beginner use
Or like
anything.
a dematting tool, like
I would not recommend them do that. I don't use dematting tools. I don't need to.
yeah, you can figure out how to work through it with that
Yes.
brush.
Yes. Or if the mat is just too severe, I'm going to clip it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But another thing on my list that I noticed over the years that has worked against me is when we start grooming, we don't have a lot of cash in the bank, right?
No.
We're trying to bank cash. So
Yeah.
we don't, tools are expensive. And we're trying to find shortcuts when we're purchasing tools, but we still have high expectations for those tools, right?
Our tools are so expensive,
Yeah.
everyone.
Even
Yes.
sometimes
Yes.
even bad tools are expensive. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what we're talking about right now. And one thing that I noticed was a problem for me is I always would look for those 60, $90 shears. If they were straight, curved, blenders, whatever, I'm like, I can't pay $200 for a pair of shears. Well, actually, I could have, but I thought this $80 shear is going to steer me right. What happens is they're not well balanced. So it's very important for a shear to be balanced in your hand properly, the weight of it.
Yeah.
And they're not, they cause you to overwork, which hurts
Yeah.
hurts. A good pair of shears that's balanced for you is not going to overwork your thumb, your wrist, or even your forearm because you're doing a lot of scissor work, especially with blending shears. And I was getting a lot of pain to the point where, on the weekends after a grooming week, I was taking Advil all the time. I was starting to wonder, am I getting arthritis at age
Yeah.
40? I'm like, my thumb, I can't move it. It was bad shears. And when I decided no more bad, when I finally figured out that was the problem, and I bought a good pair of shears for $250, a pair of Kenchi, what a
Yeah.
difference.
What a
What a
difference.
difference. And I'm like, God, all these years I've been possibly wrecking my body. Right? So
Right.
bad shears, that's high on my list. And that's cheap shears. Cheap shears, they are not going to produce. There's a reason why they're cheap.
So true.
That's high on my list. Is there?
Fork over the dollars.
Yeah.
And take care of them and don't drop them on the floor like me. I like to drop things.
Well, and that goes for any shear, whether it's
Yeah.
cheap or expensive. You can't drop them. That's why I like to have a large grooming table that has a large surface on it.
Yeah.
So my dog is here, but my shears are right here on the table, but the dog can't reach it to kick it off
Yeah.
or have it in my drawer because I have a wags table and they have drawers right there. I always protect my tools, especially the shears when
Yeah,
I'm.
I have like a little cart that attaches to my table and I can put all my stuff there so it doesn't I like to drop things. I like to drop my spray bottles. I just had to call Justin from BioGroom the other day and I was like, "Hey, can you send me like some new spray bottle?" Like I even have the gallon to refill, but I keep dropping my spray bottles and breaking.
And then it doesn't squirt.
And then I'm like, I can't use my mink oil mist,
Yeah,
so
'cause I have it in
yeah.
gallon. I'm ain't gonna dump it on the dog. Yeah. Hey, speaking of
Gosh.
spray bottles, one thing tools we do love. I'm really loving the continuous spray bottles. You can get them at almost
Oh
any.
yeah.
They are great to put
Yeah.
your dematting sprays in, to put your finishing sprays in. Anything, just such a fine mist, and you really don't have to do a lot of pumping because that
Yeah.
gets to us too by the end of
Mhm.
the day. So the
And I think
continuous.
products could fall into good tools too when we talk about things that, because I know when I started out, I got a lot of cheaper products and
Me too.
thought I even bought Furminator shampoo.
Yeah, I
And
tried
for
it too. I thought, oh, maybe that'll make it work better.
And I was like, "Oh, for de-shedding." I just got really itchy dogs. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, I mean, it was really drying. And so, poor Furminator, sorry, I'm not trying to, but what I
I
mean, but we're
know.
just going by our own personal experiences.
That's
So,
not our gig is to bash anything. We're
no,
trying to
no.
set people up for success here. That's it.
We don't want people to go out and buy a brush that we don't think is really best for their dog,
Yeah.
especially if you're thinking about bringing your dog to me, because then you're going to be brushing them at home with this, and you could possibly make brushing not a fun experience or do something undesirable to their coat. But there was other shampoos too that I bought that were on the cheaper end. And then when I started using better quality, and there's a ton, I love BioGroom and I work with them, but there is a ton of other wonderful shampoos out there.
Hmm.
So, I mean, even though I mostly use that at the shop, I have nothing bad to say about Nature Specialty or
Hmm.
Hydro. I mean, all those, I mean, they're
There's
all
so many
really,
good ones.
oh, there's so many good ones. They,
We're lucky these days. That didn't used to be the case.
yeah. See, I've been in this like industry at a time where like it's hard to choose
Yeah.
sometimes, but there is just really tons of wonderful, wonderful products out there to use. So spend a little bit more money, get the better products. You're going to be happier with your results. Your dog's skin's going to feel better too, just like us. You want to use good products on your body. If I use, dollar store bar soap only on my
Yeah.
skin, I don't think I'd be glowing at
No.
all.
I think
No,
you'd be a shriveled up prune.
I'd be, I'd be like,
Shriveled up prune.
you'd click on, I'd be like, hey.
Yeah. Here I am. Welcome. Anyway, okay. So I think the moral of this story here is if something seems too good to be true because of the price or because of what it's claiming it's going to do,
Yes.
typically it's not going to be what you want. Um, you can see results. If you see a video of a tool being used, usually you can see if that is a safe tool, if it could be dangerous for some reason. What if I overuse it and it
Yeah.
causes skin irritation? And you can cause skin irritation with a slicker brush too if you're going over and over and
Yes,
over in the same
absolutely.
spot. Absolutely.
Or it's not
So,
a good slicker brush if it's a really
yeah,
cheapy one. Yeah.
it's not very forgiving and it has to have a
Yeah.
little bit of flex in it. Yeah, I think the moral to this episode is that you do get what you pay for, but not always true. The Furminator was expensive and I
Yeah.
get some. I mean, I could have de-shredded dogs, but I wasn't setting them up for success by using it. I was causing them to grow even more undercoat because I was taking like all of it out.
Yeah.
Let's bring this up a level. Michelle, what is there a tool specifically that comes to mind that you can say, I adore this tool. This is why, and this is what I use it for?
I'm a huge Dremel fan. I mean, and most people are, but I didn't used to be because I was almost like afraid of it. Like I just could always cut nails. But now, I mean, I Dremel all my dog's nails as much as I can. And so I think that especially like my senior customers that come in with like little dogs and the dogs are crawling all over them. I,
Yeah.
I really, really try to make sure that I get their nails as smooth as possible. So, that's probably one of my favorite tools and I don't know. A lot of people dread nail trims, but I don't know why I look
I
forward
love
to
it.
it. Yeah, I look forward to it. So I'm always more than happy to get in
Kind of
there.
like pimple popping. I do that
Yes.
too.
So good. It's what I watched before bed. I'm like, I
Yeah,
can't
me
comment.
too. What Dremel do you you've probably used a couple different Dremels over the years. Do you have a favorite and why?
I don't really have a favorite, honestly. Like the one I have is just one off Amazon. But I
Hmm.
think that's just an important thing to point out that, if you can do that in the shop, it makes the nails, if you've cut the nails before and they all look kind of choppy, and then you
Hmm.
picture like if you were out, I always think like if I was out walking, and my toenails were all raggedy looking, and you're gonna catch on
I
things,
would
and
hope you'd make a video if you did
that
that.
would make a really funny. I'm
You
like
were
looking at
out
my toes.
walking
I'm
and your
like,
toenails are raggedy.
do you want your toenails to look like this, folks?
I'm
Use
picturing
this Dremel.
here she is over in the corner. You should make that video.
I should make that video.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so good. Let me just jot down some notes here. No.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think you've had probably a lot more years of experience with all different kinds of tools. And like I said, luckily for me, I had the opportunity when I started out that I had a ton of research. I had a ton of resources because there was this really cool lady named Amy, and she had this YouTube called Go Groomer. And I used to go there and watch her videos and literally like buy the things that she would recommend,
Aw.
and like learn, you know what I mean? So there was so many great resources out there to help me make sure I got the right tools. So I haven't, I think like a hammock, I used to use a lot more hammocks when I was learning because I
Mhm.
felt like, and I had this really like plush, soft one that was really cozy for the dogs. And so if they were, spinning a lot, and now I've learned better how to just kind of navigate through a
Uh-huh.
room,
Yeah,
but
because that takes a lot to set up a dog in a hammock. That was my feeling all along when they came
yeah.
out. There is another buzz. Everybody's using them, and I'm like, okay, well that's great. So now you can basically trim the dog's nails and shave the paw pads and trim the feet. What else are you gonna do when the dog's in a hammock?
For me, it was nails. Like that's
Yeah,
where you get some ones that are really, really bad with nails. I mean, and I'll bust out this this hammock is so old, this fleece gray hammock that I have, and
I
I
have one
I'll
too like that.
yeah, I'll bring it out every now and then if I get a really really tough
Yeah.
one,
But it does add time to the groom. You gotta get it out.
yes.
You gotta set it up. You gotta hoist the dog up in it and hook it. You've
Yeah.
got a 50-pound bulldog. It's hard. That's what I used to use mine for. Was my bulldog that I had that was he was quite vicious. He had to be in it
Yeah.
for nails.
A bulldog giving you a hard time for a nail trim?
Typically, I didn't experience that in the shop. They were all pretty chill because they're so lazy. But this guy he was vicious. He's no longer with us because he was
Oh,
vicious.
really?
Yeah,
I have a Frenchie that I can't cut her nails, and I, what I find too, that if I can't cut their nails, like I've tried everything, we just can't do it. And I'll tell the owner, like, this dog would rather plummet to its death than let
yeah,
me cut a nail. And they always take him to the vet, and the vet can't even do it,
yeah.
And so
No,
it's like, if we can't do it, usually there's a good
the
chance the
vet
vet
can't
can't
do it
either.
either. And I
So,
agree with you. I think groomers. Gus is hacking on something. I guess the phone too hard. As groomers, we're definitely better set up to
yeah,
handle. And what I mean by that is our tables, you never go into the vet and see an actual grooming table. It goes up and down. And they have a
yeah,
stainless steel table. The dog's slipping, can't get any footing.
they're all
It's not a
holding them.
comfortable situation. We are better set up. We have the groomers helper system. I have always used that ever since that came out. The groomers helper system where you have it's hooked to your arm and it
Yeah,
has a special loop that pulls away from the dog's trachea, but I can harness the dog real close to the grooming arm so he can't turn around and bite me and
yes,
he can't fling himself off the table. It's a safety feature. That allows me to do most everything I need to do as a groomer is the groomer
yes.
helper system.
Because I think a lot of people don't understand is the head whipping motion that they'll do. So you just have them on a lead and it's up here. And most dogs will just sit like that on the lead. And I always want it loose and comfortable. And then you get the feisty ones, where you make it maybe a little bit tighter and hold them a little bit more. They have to be more a little more
They
restrained.
have to be less mobile on the table.
Yes.
And then usually once they are, that sends a message to them.
Yes.
I'm kind of harnessed in here safely,
Yeah.
but I really can't do what I want to do, which is bite her.
Yes.
And they give up.
Yes. And it's so, but they will whip their heads back and forth too, so hard that you're worried that they're going to injure themselves. So, on that,
Exactly.
yeah. And on that note, I will tell you my favorite tool at my shop is a cone, just a good old fashioned,
Like an e-cone,
like an e cone.
e-collar.
I'm such a huge fan of these when they're getting spicy. I call it the cone of shame.
Yeah.
And if they get a little spicy, I just put, so there's steps that you're going to take before a dog's going to need a muzzle, right? I don't want to muzzle a dog. I will, of course, absolutely. It's, I mean, I want to keep everybody safe, but I always say I try to set them up for success.
Uh-huh.
And if you're side eyeing real hard, or you're moving your head real fast, or you're trying to put just like, they're like, oh, they're just mouthing it. I'm like, yeah, like they're putting like their mouth like on their paw and their hand while you're working. I just put a cone on them and I just say it sets the tone and they're like, Oh, okay. And
It does.
99% of the time for me, if I need a tool like that, that works so beautifully, and then I can just finish doing what I have to do, and then we move on. So such a simple, cheap thing has
Yeah.
helped me navigate through tough. I do have a lot of tough dogs,
That's
and
great advice, though.
yeah,
Yeah, I think all of us groomers do, especially in the first 5 6 years of our grooming career. We're getting basically all the groom. We're grooming dogs that aren't on other groomers' regular schedule,
yeah,
and there's
yeah,
a reason why they're not. Either the client is not routine enough with the grooming, or that the dog is spicy.
yeah. They were all spicy in the beginning. They're all spicy. They're all matted because
Yeah,
you're taking anything and you're doing it for $75. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And so and you learn real fast that way, though.
you
I
do,
mean, I
you
learned real
do.
fast that, how to navigate through a lot of mats and what to do and what not to do. So, and that's a tool that turned into one of my favorites after probably about a year. But
The
just it's
e-collar, that's great advice. They come in 3 sizes.
yeah,
I have them too.
yeah,
So you'll have one in small, medium, and large, and then it pretty much is going to handle any dog that you
yes,
get in, and it really does help. I agree with you, so does the groomer's helper.
yeah.
I couldn't live without it.
And we're going to do a whole nother podcast talking about like dogs and body language and all and going on that topic. But I think that that's
Yeah,
a really important thing to talk about because body language is something that, especially for new groomers, that you might miss. You might not really know that just a stiff body or a side eye, or for a pet parent, though, they tend to really miss these cues. And so
yeah,
that's really important. So for me, if you're giving me a side eye and you're all stiff, you don't have to be lifting your lip. I know what you're thinking about doing. So I'm like, no,
that's
like
right.
and I got a lot of spicy ones, so that's really worked for me.
Yeah,
So yeah.
good advice. In a nutshell, I mean, what is the message really behind this episode, Michelle? What would you say?
Use good tools and don't believe everything you see on the internet. Ask people, ask us and ask other groomers. But if you have questions,
Like phone a
definitely
friend.
phone a friend, leave
Did you get the
comments.
Furminator? Do you like it? Oh, you don't
Yes.
like it either?
And we want to hear about it. So definitely leave comments on this podcast. Tell us what you think. Tell us your favorite tools. We want to know all about them. We're here to learn too and to help out everyone else. And so, yeah, let us know what you're thinking and give us some feedback for sure. We want to know your experiences with maybe some of the tools we talked about or other tools maybe we didn't talk about that you love.
Oh, there are others. I guess
Yeah.
this could have been a very long one, but I think we really wanted to hit on the main ones that
Yeah.
are misrepresented.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you need this. No, actually, you don't.
Yeah.
you know, leave comments, guys. We'd love to hear. We're building a community here. This is a safe place, our Unleashed community. This is where people can talk all things dog grooming, whether
Yeah.
you're a pet parent or a professional. It doesn't matter. You're
Yeah.
safe here. So
We're
let's.
not judging you.
We're not judging. Keep the conversation going,
Yeah.
right?
So don't be judging us.
Yeah, don't
All
be no
right.
judging
Yeah,
us.
we're just here to hang out with you and be your friend. So be nice. I had to block 4 people this morning on my Instagram.
And I'm not blocking anymore. That's my limit for one
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
4.
I'm a little heated right now. I woke up this morning. I'm like, this is what I gotta wake up to this morning. Why people gotta be weird? But you're not weird. This is a nice place. This is
It
not
is.
a nice, yeah, we won't block anybody. Well, maybe we'll block you, but we don't want
We'll
so
see.
just be nice, because we're nice and we love you. So you
Yes.
just, yeah. Okay.
And we got more episodes coming here that are going to add so much value to your grooming sessions or to your routine maintenance with your dog at home. Promises. This is promises here from us. So,
Yes. Well, stay tuned. We'll be back.
and thank you guys. We'll see you in the next video.
Thank you.
That wraps up today's episode of Dog Grooming Unleashed. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We are truly grateful to have you as part of our Unleashed community. Don't forget, we drop new episodes every Monday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So grab your coffee or your clippers and hang out with us again, my friend, next week. If today's conversation made you laugh, taught you something new, or just made you feel seen as a groomer or a pet enthusiast, please take a second to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend. And we'd love to hear from you. Drop your thoughts, questions, or even your funniest grooming moments in the comments. We might just feature your story or question in the next episode. And we can't wait to keep learning, laughing, and growing right alongside of you. Stay kind, stay curious, and keep grooming from your heart.